Okay, so can't really remember what I left off with, but here's where we're currently at. The paint that I got, the PA green, I went back to the paint place and it was actually the wrong color. There's a couple different variations of that paint code, and this is actually a tri-coat for this car. The paint code on the door is not fully correct. It is correct, but there's a couple variations of it. What I recommend doing is taking off your gas door, bring it to the paint shop with you. Don't get the duplicolor paint matching stuff. It's not accurate. It's not close. It comes out as a way brighter green. You can kind of see some of it still in there. It's not even close. I had to strip it right down and start from scratch and redo this entire area. So where we're currently at. I've done a couple other little, pretty much perfect right now. So yeah, we're ready to put some paint down on it. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit more. Currently it's a little bit too cold in here to paint, so hopefully I'll get a little bit of heat in here. If not, I might just call it and do it tomorrow. That's not rust, that's burnt paint because of a weld. It's fine. Same with that, that's burnt paint in there, not rust. One thing I did notice, and this was my error, on the top part here, not necessarily a bad thing that it's a little more shallow here. It doesn't really make a difference because these holes are only so long. As long as these ones match that, it can only go the same amount front and back, and it really can. So this is perfectly fine and acceptable. If I would have known and remembered that it went a little bit farther back, I would have cut it farther back, but honestly, it's fine. I might, haven't decided, go in with a carbide and just do a hair of clean up in it, just to like try and bring this over just a hair and square a couple things up and just clean it up just a hair. But overall, it's pretty much perfect. I'm not gonna do too much and dive into more and going crazy with it. It's pretty good. So okay, so it's been a little while after the last bit of video. So we got our base down, which is a blue. Again, this will come in when you go to a paint place, you'll get the correct coloring they'll give you it. So this is the base coat down right now, and I'm about to put the mid coat on. Then will be followed up by the clear. So the green is about to go on now. It's been about an hour since the blue has went on, so then it will be I'll be putting the green on now, and then green followed by clear coat, and then we'll be done. So I'll keep you updated as I go, but you can see it's actually turning out really nice, and the jam looks pretty good. You can kind of see a bit of a line, but I can wet sand and taper that in. That won't be too difficult. Mostly I can cut that through the because this will all be the same when you paint it. There'll just be a slight lip. I can sand that lip out through the clear coat and kind of taper it up. Ideally, I'd like to paint the whole jam, but I can't do that. Unfortunately, I can't paint the whole jam. If I could, I would, but if I'm going that far, I'm gonna have the whole car stripped and painted, and I'm just not ready for that job. So this is what I'm doing for now. Also, it's not warm enough in here, so I have to send it to an actual paint shop. Also, highly recommend these lights off Amazon. They're really easy to hook up, and you can just hook them into your normal light socket. They're actually great. Love them. This garage was just so dim before. Well, in comparison to, like, no comparison to now. It's so much better to work in. You can actually see what you're doing, and it's a lot easier. So highly recommend getting these lights off Amazon. They're pretty cheap. I only paid like $100. That's what we're looking at like so far. Time to put on the green, and we'll see how this turns out. Oh, I also recommend, especially if it's cold out, make sure you have good heat. At least try and keep as much heat as you can on it, even if you don't have like a really well heated garage or wherever, especially when it's winter. Just make sure you try and get as much heat as you can in this area. I've had these heaters on all day. It's currently like almost 4 o'clock, so I'm just keeping the heat in here up as high as I possibly can and keeping the heat directed to where I'm painting to keep it to keep the material at more of the correct painting temperature of around 20. So 20 Celsius, that is. Fahrenheit, I think that's like 70 or something like that. Especially with the clear coat. The clear coat can get like hazy if you don't, which is what I'm a little bit worried about. So hopefully the clear coat turns out okay. Everything else has so far, so I think I got a good process going right now. It seems to be working okay, so. Okay, it might be a little bit hard to see because it's even a little bit hard to see for me. But this is the correct color. You can, again, it's really hard to tell right now. It's a dark color and there's no clear on it, but yeah, this looks good. Again, I've only got the first coat on it so far, so it's not perfect. It's gonna get another 2 coats and then another 2 coats of clear, but yeah, you can see this is the right color now. You can see there's a bit of waves in it, but it's not too bad. Good enough. I could have body worked it, but You're not gonna see it anyways because the hinge is gonna be over top, so whatever, do a little bit you see there it is what it is. Also recommend, where is it? Right here. These are some shims. Door shims from LMR. There's a couple different thicknesses in here. Oop. There's a couple different thicknesses in there. These are for door gaps, to fix your door gap depending on how bad it is and what size you need for top and bottom. I ordered them just in case. It would be a good call if you've done this type of repair to your car to order these just in case. If not, you could probably get away with a washer. Yeah, I am going to get the next 2 coats on and get this all done and then get some clear on it. And I think I'm going to wait an hour till I put clear on it. Okay, we got the second coat of green on now, and it's really starting to show. It's looking actually really good. I don't know if you can tell. Again, lighting isn't perfect, but yeah, this looks really good. This is way better than the other paint I used. And I did also down in here, because I could see primer along here, so I sanded that down just slightly and painted in there.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
That is the final coat of the green, and it's turned out really well. What I did was I tried to build up around it to help it smooth in a little better. You can tell it's just a hair higher, but it kind of is what it is. It's a patch sort of thing, if you will. What I probably should have done was not tape here. This one's okay, I don't mind that. You can barely even see that. If I could have gotten the seam back to here, I would have, but there was some rust right along here that I had to fix. So that's why it's back here, not here. See you guys in the next video. Okay, so can't really remember what I left off with, but here's where we're currently at. The paint that I got, the PA green I went back to the paint place and it was actually the wrong color. There's a couple different variations of that paint code, and this is actually a tri-coat for this car. The paint code on the door is not fully correct. It is correct, but there's a couple variations of it. What I recommend doing is taking off your gas door, bring it to the paint shop with you. Don't get the duplicolor paint matching stuff. It's not accurate. It's not close. It comes out as a way brighter green. You can kind of see some of it still in there. It's not even close. I had to strip it right down and start from scratch and redo this entire area. So where we're currently at, I've done a couple other little spots, just filling any little pinholes. I've got it pretty much perfect right now. So yeah, we're ready to put some paint down on it. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit more. Currently it's a little bit too cold in here to paint, so hopefully I'll get a little bit of heat in here. If not, I might just call it and do it tomorrow. That's not rust, that's burnt paint because of a weld. It's fine. Same with that's burnt paint in there, not rust. One thing I did notice, and this was my error, on the top part, this goes a little bit longer. Not necessarily a bad thing that it's a little more shallow here. It doesn't really make a difference because these holes are only so long. As long as these ones match that, it can only go the same amount front and back, and it really can. So this is perfectly fine and acceptable. If I would have known and remembered that it went a little bit farther back, I would have cut it farther back, but honestly, it's fine. I might, haven't decided, go in with a carbide and just do a hair of clean up in it, just to like try and bring this over just a hair and square a couple things up and just clean it up just a hair. But overall, it's pretty much perfect. I'm not gonna do too much and dive into more and going crazy with it. It's pretty good. So okay, so it's been a little while after the last bit of video. So we got our base down, which is a blue. Again, this will come in when you go to a paint place, you'll get the correct coloring they'll give you it. So this is the base coat down right now, and I'm about to put the mid coat on. Then will be followed up by the clear. So the green is about to go on now. It's been about an hour since the blue has went on, so then it will be I'll be putting the green on now, and then green followed by clear coat, and then we'll be done. So I'll keep you updated as I go, but you can see it's actually
Okay, I don't know if my mic will break up, but we're gonna get to know more about Northern Performance Group.
How's it going, everyone? People are watching right now. So if you guys also want to know anything, please.
Alright, I've got some questions, especially what people have been asking to get to know guys about cars and stuff. Are you ready?
Um, do you have any people in chat? I can't tell. Give some people a couple minutes to get in.
Yeah.
Also, let us know how we sound, if we're sounding clear, if there's any audio issues on our end.
Yeah.
Fighting a couple issues before, so just let us know if you guys can hear us okay, we sound okay, nothing, not horrible audio quality or something.
Yeah, if there is, it'll be on my end because my connection is bad.
Yeah. Someone's been fighting with internet issues the past month.
Pretty much. So firstly, why don't you just tell us your name? Because instead of like saying Northern Performance Group or the NPG guy.
I'm Chris.
Simple as that. Chris. And I'm just the editor, and the girl in the background, behind the scenes. So what was your first car?
That'd be my Jetta. Also, can you guys hear us? Let us know if you guys can hear us okay, if there's any audio issues, or if you can even hear us at all. I have no idea on my end if you guys
Yeah.
can hear us or not.
Oh yeah, there's no responses yet.
Yeah, so then maybe we should wait to make sure that we're
Mhm.
actually being heard properly.
Mhm. So your first car was your Jetta.
Yeah. 1997 Volkswagen Jetta.
Nice. How long did you have that for?
Um, a long time. Oh god, how long's it been?
Your first car was the Jetta?
Yeah.
I thought it was Audi.
No, no,
Oh really?
no. The Jetta was the first car.
Oh, see, learn something new every day.
Oh, I would have gotten that in. Could have been 2010 or 2011. I don't know. It could have been 09.
Oh wow. Actually, yeah, I left school.
I can't remember when it would have been.
Yeah.
I know it was in grade.
Oh wow. Yeah, so it would have been around about 2009.
Yeah, 'cause it graduated in, what was it, 2012, 2013?
Nice.
Yeah, so then 2012, 2013, then it graduated. So, what was it? What was it? Grade 11 I got it. I think it was 10. So it could have been like 09, 010, somewhere in there I got the car.
Yeah. That's not bad.
Oh, I still have no idea if anyone can hear us yet.
Mm, oh, someone said Chris is a little quiet. Okay. Yeah, this is like our first time doing like a podcast thing, so knowing the right audio is great help. You're more quiet now. Got even more quiet. I'm gonna try something, so like just let me know if it makes it worse.
Hmm. It's in
Wait, that's
here. What'd you say?
oh, you said that's better. Just leave it there.
Okay. If that's working now, then that's perfect.
Yeah.
If not, then I don't know if I bumped up the right audio or not. Hopefully I got the right one.
Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully that's right. We got it figured out.
Yeah. I think that was on my behalf why it was too quiet.
Oh, you turned the wrong one down, didn't you?
No, I didn't know that I had to have my desktop audio.
Oop, wrong button. Uh oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense then why. So it was just projecting your voice and not mine.
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully that's got it fixed at least.
Yeah. So if you didn't hear the first part, Chris was just saying how his Jetta was his first car.
Yeah, you can see it. Some of the first videos on the channel is about it. Actually, they got a lot of views. Some of those older videos I did. But yeah, I've had that car for quite a while now. Somewhere between, I don't know, it, '09 to 2011, I think. 2011, 2012, somewhere in there.
What's your dream car?
1967 Ford Mustang Shelby Eleanor.
Of
So
course.
basically a clone of the movie car from Gone in 60 Seconds.
I mean, that is a pretty car.
Very pretty car.
Yeah. Even I like that.
Yeah, I wish. I wish.
How much would it
That's
go
the
for?
goal. A lot. Somewhere between, I don't know, 200 to 400,000, even upwards of half a million right now.
Poof.
And that's for the kit car.
Really?
The real movie, yeah, the movie cars. I think the last movie car sold for 1.3 million US.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think that was Nicolas Cage's personal one that he sold, and it went for 1.3 million.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like 1.3 or 1.9, something like that, if I remember correctly.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, if only. If only I had that much.
Oh, tell me. It is a really good looking car.
Cool. Yeah.
Um, so what was the best road trip you've ever taken in your car? Just have a little think about
Uh,
that.
I haven't really been on any great road trips with any of them. Like the most I do is take it for like a 2 hour drive up to the cottage, so it's nothing really impressive. 2 hour drive to the cottage, or either an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes drive to the track. So
Yeah.
it's nothing really special. There's not very many like really good twisty roads and winding roads around here, so it's it's pretty flat and boring, which is why I aim more for drag racing, because there isn't really any elevation changes or corners or like fun driving twisty roads.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best driving roads I've been on though is the one out in LA. It's called the Snake. You see that a lot in who takes that road a lot? Smoking Tire, Matt Farah. You see him do a lot of car reviews and tests on that road. Absolutely phenomenal.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of elevation changes. It's fun.
Yeah. Well, for me, all your roads is like wow to me because in England everything's smaller.
Yeah, that makes it kind of more fun.
What being smaller?
In a way, because you have small back roads, you just kind of get to rip around faster around tight corners, and all the roads here are huge.
That's fair.
It's not really built for like driving fast around small tight corners. You don't have to worry about crashing as much essentially compared to Europe.
True. Especially when you showed me
That's
those
where
UK
the fun of
roads.
driving is more so.
You
They're
get more
straight
fun
here.
through the day.
They're straight and pretty much flat everywhere.
Yeah. What's the fastest car you've ever driven?
You guys still hearing everything okay? I've been around a lot of really fast cars. I've been around a lot. So driven, it's still probably going to be the Jetta. It's a toss up between the Jetta and the Mustang
Uh-huh.
for one of the fastest. But I've grown up around my neighbor he had a Ferrari. He has a Dodge Viper. I think currently he actually just bought Drake's, what is it, Ferrari? Was it his 488 that he owned? He just picked that up a couple years ago. So my neighbor had a lot of really nice cars, so I've been around a decent amount of stuff, and then yeah,
Oh wow.
I've been around some pretty fast cars.
Damn.
Yeah.
How long have you been driving?
I don't know, long enough.
Well, how old were you?
When did I get my license? I can't even remember. It's been a while. Probably over 10 years now.
How long, sorry?
Yeah, I think I'm just over 10 years driving.
Oh wow.
10 years. Just over 10 years.
I think mine's around about the same. Like, I passed my test in 2013. So, yeah, about the same. But obviously, our license and tests are all different to you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I don't know how they're done over there.
you gotta be 17 before you get a provisional license, which is the license before a full license.
Yeah, over here there's 3 stages of license. You'll get your permit essentially.
Okay.
That'll allows you to get some driving experience, but you have to have like a parent or someone who's over like I think 10 years driving experience in the car with you at all times.
Mm-hmm.
no driving after dark, 100% zero alcohol, blah, blah, blah. Then you get your secondary, which is called G2, which then you start to be able to drive on your own.
Mhm.
And you can drive on your own for the first 6 months, I think. No driving after dark, no alcohol, whatever. And then after that, I think you can drive after dark. And you can have some alcohol, I can't remember. And then after that, then you get your full license.
Oh, really? I remember I did my test. Oh, well, not my test. I was in a driving lesson, and one of my lessons was in the dark.
Interesting.
Yeah. And we just have two licenses, like provisional, which is you can drive but with someone else in the car. And then when you pass your test, you get a full license, which you can drive by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So besides the Mustang,
No, you don't
and
get your full license till like a year after.
Oh, really? I did not know
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides
So there's
the
3 levels again, as I said.
yeah.
The first one. Also, if you can't tell, there's a bit of a delay between us. Her internet's extremely bad,
Oh, it's so
and it
bad.
was at one point upwards of a 40-second delay.
Yeah, and it's
So
really low now, so it's probably going to be a bit.
someone needs to get their internet fixed. So what were you saying before?
I was just saying, besides the Jetta and the Mustang, what other cars do you have?
Currently, I got the Jetta, the Mustang, and then a Fiat 500 Abarth.
Ooh. It's quite sporty, that as well.
Yeah, fun little car.
Do you drive it much?
It's like driving a go-kart.
Oh, really?
Sorry, what did you say? You broke up.
I was just saying, oh, really? It's like a go-kart.
Yeah, it drives exactly like a go-kart.
Oh, wow. I would like to try that then.
Yeah, it's hysterically fun to drive.
Nice. Here's a question that will get you going.
Okay.
Do you think self-driving cars will become more common in the future?
Yes, they will.
Yeah.
100%. And I think that it's stupid and idiotic.
I knew that would get you going.
Yeah, I'm trying to hold myself back.
What
It's
parts of
stupid
it?
and idiotic and dangerous,
Oh,
in my
yeah,
opinion.
it is definitely dangerous.
Huh?
It's definitely dangerous.
You're breaking up again.
It's
Yeah.
definitely dangerous, yeah. Like,
I think the 40-second delay is back.
oh, again, I'm sorry. It's
Because you
on
said
my
it's
behalf.
because you've said it's definitely dangerous like 4 times now.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm entertaining everyone by repeating myself.
It's gonna get fixed.
Yes,
Her internet will get fixed. I will nag the crap out of her till it does.
which he does anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, self-driving cars are dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, it just takes one part of the electronics to go wrong, and then that's it.
Not to mention, people can hack into your car, take control of it, and kill you.
That is a fair point.
Yeah, because I believe it has happened with a Jeep before. I think there's an article on it that somehow they hacked in through OnStar or whatever thing, and they hacked into it and they took control of the wheel, and they floored the car and they sent it off a cliff, killing 4 people,
Oh
if I
my
remember
gosh.
correctly. Yeah, it was some like Chinese hacker or something, I believe. Again, this is what I remember off the top of my head. It could be wrong,
Yeah.
but that's what I remember hearing.
Okay. That I don't agree with it.
It scares me.
Oh yeah.
If there isn't a physical connection between the steering wheel and the tires, I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Same with Tesla, same with anything with electronic steering. I don't like it.
Yeah. Like, I'd rather be in control than something that can go wrong.
Hmm.
Um. So, do you prefer a manual or an automatic transmission?
Manual, 100% manual.
Yeah.
Automatic is in some ways technically faster, but not also.
Yeah.
Um, Automatic's consistent, especially when you get into drag racing for high horsepower cars. You're talking, between 1,500 horsepower and like 3,000, 5,000 horsepower, like really, really fast cars.
Mhm.
Um, an automatic is better in that circumstance just because there's no chance of missing gears. Can't stand that sort of abuse. Essentially, they can't take it. Um, Again, I prefer a manual, and I disagree with a lot of companies that are saying that a manual or an automatic can shift faster than a manual. I disagree. I've seen people shift way faster than those new 8 speed, 10 speeds, whatever, that can shift faster than any person in whatever point seconds. I disagree with that.
Yeah. As well, it's like a manual. It's like you're more in control.
Yeah, you're more connected and you get a better driving experience.
Yeah.
Granted, it sucks more when you're in traffic,
True.
but I don't find it that bad. Just pop it in the neutral and take your foot off the clutch.
Mhm. As well, like if you break
It's
down,
not that much more inconvenient.
isn't it better if you break
Because
down?
even with an automatic, if you're,
Sorry, my delay again.
yeah, but yeah, it is better. In some circumstances, it is better if you break down. Um, Easier to push,
Yeah.
easier to get it off the road, get out of traffic.
Plus, it's
Um,
easier to jumpstart a
Not
manual
saying an
than
automatic
automatic.
isn't, but you'd have to take out your key from the off the thing. Yeah, and you can jumpstart a manual, but jump starting really doesn't help as much anymore.
Oh.
It can, but that's only if your starter fails.
Okay.
That's only yeah, it's only really if your starter fails, because if your battery dies, granted it could be an old battery, but if your battery usually is dead in traffic, that means you don't have an alternator that's working, so you don't have voltage.
Mhm.
So your car shut off. So
Oh.
jump starting it will do nothing.
Okay. Okay.
That's why a lot of times when I see people who pulled into a parking lot and they're like, "Oh, my car just broke down," or they're on the side of the road, "I need a jump," and they're on the side of the road. I'm like, and it just died while you're driving. They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, a jump won't fix it because you don't have a battery.
Yeah.
Your battery's most important.
Yeah. Like, what features are most important to you in a car? stuff
The
like
least amount of features in a car possible is probably what I like.
that. So you're an old man, really.
Like car, essentially. I don't need all that stuff. It's heavy.
Yeah.
Slows the car down.
Well, you like your radio.
I like my radio, yes, but if it's a good sounding car, I don't really need it. So, I don't know. Just dependent, really.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice to have power seats or heated seats, but in the end, I don't really use them. Air conditioning, I rarely use in any car. So, yeah. And currently, I only have one car with air conditioning, and I don't know if I've ever used it before.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, 90% of the time, I just roll the windows down. So I don't know if I've ever used the air conditioning in any of my cars, like ever.
um. Do you plan on buying any more cars in the future?
Yes, hopefully lots.
Mhm.
Hopefully lots.
Are you sticking to the same brand of cars, like makes, or?
No, no. It doesn't. Brand doesn't bother me.
Hmm.
It could be any brand as long as I like that specific car, and there's something that I want to own about that car. I'll own it.
Hmm.
I'm picky what I like, but I'm not brand biased. It's not that I'll just go out and buy Fords or I'll just go out and buy Volkswagens. I'm not
Yeah.
brand specific like a lot of car guys out there. They just, oh, I need a Chevy. Oh, I need this. Oh, I need that. I don't care. In the end, it doesn't matter to me what it is. If I like the car, I like the car.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like me, I just tend to stick to Fords.
Didn't you have a Peugeot also, though?
Shush, right? That is the only one I could afford at the time. And it was like bright red and small. It was so embarrassing. And then my brother decided to spray paint the wheels blue. So a red car with blue wheels.
Oof, that's ugly.
Mm-hmm. I did not want to drive it.
Also, if any of you guys watching have any questions, feel free to comment them below. Um, yeah, don't hesitate to ask any questions. We'll see it and we'll answer it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be me.
Yeah. So again, don't be afraid to comment if you want to know something that we haven't touched on yet or anything. Feel free, ask away.
Someone just asked, what type of winter tires do you recommend?
Ooh. Um, One of the best ones that I had, what were they? The name. It's a weird name, and I don't know how to write it, but I believe it's called Glislave.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I think it's Glislave. Um, I think they're. I think Continental bought them out, but I believe they're like a Swedish tire. and they're pretty good. They're a pretty good tire.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were. I don't think they were even that badly priced. They were pretty well priced. Might be a little bit harder to find, but yeah, they were a really good tire when I had them.
Does it matter what type of car you have?
No, no,
Okay.
as long as they make them in the correct tire size, you're fine.
Yeah.
Tires are tires. I do recommend if you're gonna get yourself a nice set of tires, don't buy the cheapest ones out there. Um, don't buy the cheapest tires out there. You can get some cheaper tires that are a good brand, like the ones that I currently have for the front runners on the Mustang. They're a Fusion, but they're made by Bridgestone, so they're a cheap tire, but they're made by a really good company, and they're priced very cheaply. But I do recommend them. They're a nice quiet tire.
Yeah.
Usually, the cheaper the tire, the louder, the harder the rubber, the worse they are. And the better the tire, the softer the rubber, the more quiet they are, the less road noise, the better grip.
Mhm.
So it's always good getting a good set of tires on your car. Oh, too long. Oh, you have an M3. Yeah, I think they will have them in that size. You'd have to try and Google it. I couldn't tell you how to spell the name though. I know that they're called Goslave. I know Continental. I
Yeah.
believe Continental bought the brand. It's like a Swedish brand. Grip. You don't want to get cheap tires with a nice car, especially as you have an M3. You don't want cheap tires on it. Put good tires on it. Make sure you treat it well because
Yeah.
I know those the Goslaves. They got the ability to put studs in them, and they also got ground up walnut shells inside of them for added traction or something.
Oh, really?
Designed like to bite into the ice a little bit better. So they're a really high quality tire. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, how fast is the Mustang? To hook up, I've been having traction issues with it. So when I'm essentially leaving the line, I can't get it to hook up and leave properly. The best I've got out of it was a 13.2, but my 60 foot was so bad, you can't even count it as a good run. The 60 foot was basically a 2.2 or 2.3. So 2.3 seconds in the 60 foot is horrible for that car. It should be about, I should be at least seeing a 1.8 60 foot. If I can get that 60 foot down and to get it to leave properly, I wouldn't be surprised if it cracked an 11.9 in the quarter. Maybe a little on the high side, but it should be in the 12s at least. Like 12.3, 12.4, pretty easily. It's not leaving correctly. I can't get it to hook up. You can even see in some of the shorts videos when it leaves. The second it leaves, it spins the tires. It blows them off. I've added probably about last year. I probably added about 30 horsepower to it with that new cam, 20 to 30 horsepower, and it only took off a 1/100th of a second, which tells me that there's something wrong with how the car's leaving. It's a pretty decently quick car, but there's definitely something not right. Yeah, hopefully we'll get that sorted. That I've done some work and I think I found what could have been causing it. So hopefully we'll see what it does.
Yeah, I like your Mustang.
It's a fun car. It's a really fun car.
Yeah.
They're not the fastest cars out there, but they're so light. They weigh nothing. I think with me in the car, I weighed the car at what was it? 20 was it, no, it's 3,000 pounds with me in the car. With me out, it's about 3,000 pounds, pretty much even. So it's a really
Yeah, that's
or
not bad.
brain fart. It's 2,800 pounds without me in it. 3,000 with me in it.
Mm-hmm.
Brain work. Yeah, so 2,800 pounds. That's a really light
Yeah.
car, and when you can put some power into them, they really wake up. Yeah, I got some plans. Hopefully it'll happen over the winter with it. Hopefully, I don't know. Fingers crossed. Basically, just depends if I have the money to do what I want to do.
Yeah. It's a good project.
Ooh, what car would you recommend people for buying? That is really up to the person themselves based on what they like and what they don't like. A lot of bad cars. There's a lot of cars that are just inherently flawed from the beginning. It's really up to you what you want. Like again, for example, the rotary engines, they're inherently very flawed engines. They're difficult to make power on. They're known to blow up and have engine issues, but they're a great engine. Even with all their problems, people still love the car. It's really up to yourself and what you like. So it's a hard question to ask.
Yeah, everyone's different.
If you want pure fun, you want something rear wheel drive with a manual. Like best bang for the buck, honestly, is the Mustang. It really is. Um, they're just a really good platform. They really are. Best bang for buck, best dollar per horsepower is the Mustang. It's it's you can do basically anything with them. Okay, so a crossover. That's like a car mixed with like a van essentially. So it's like that mix of a van and a car. It's the same as an SUV. Like it, it's a weird area. It's like half car, half van, if you will.
Yeah. That's a good question.
I'm not I'm not a fan of them to be honest. I stay away from them. I don't like the way they ride. They're too tall. They're kind of like the new soccer mom vehicle, if you will. Everyone has them. They're everywhere. People like them more so because they like being up higher versus a car being low to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer the car again being low to the ground because I prefer having a car that handles and feels tight to the road. When you get the higher up your vehicle, the higher the weight is. So basically, you can feel it lean more when you get into a tall vehicle, and I don't like how that feels. Like you kind of feel like you're gonna roll over. Not saying that they're not capable. I just don't like the way they feel. They're too high up.
I mean, it might be ideal for someone like me who's short.
Well, that's part of the thing. They want them for taller. They want them to be taller so you can see better.
Yeah.
And they say, it's a better ride and whatnot, but I don't like it. I prefer a smaller car.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I have one car that's current, or I actually have two cars that are turbocharged. The Fiat is turbocharged, and the Jetta is turbocharged. And the Mustang is currently all motor, but the plan is to put a supercharger on that. So I'm not biased based on superchargers or turbo. Turbos are more efficient than a supercharger. A supercharger is an efficient way to make power, but a turbo is better at making power than a supercharger is. You don't have to deal with the parasitic loss from the drag that the supercharger takes to turn over, which does kill a good chunk of power. With the turbos, it's all spent exhaust gases that come out, and it's better to have back pressure than it is to have load, like heavy load on your engine. So it's better for turbos are a better, more efficient means of a power adder. In the end, I'm completely unbiased to them. I love both of them. I love nitrous cars, you name it. Excuse me. Basically, it doesn't matter to me. Any power adder is a good power adder. You have gives and takes with both. Superchargers, they will make your car honestly sound better. In some instances, some no, because the turbo does sound good, but on like the Mustang, for example, you would lose the sound of the 302, that iconic roar you get from them. And that for me is just something I can't lose. So I would rather go either all motor or supercharged with it, because then all it's going to do is enhance the sound of the car. With like a 4-cylinder or a straight six or whatever else, a turbo sounds amazing. I love the sound of a big turbo, hearing it spool up. So it's more so up to you what you like, but there is no bad power adder, turbo, supercharger, nitrous, naturally aspirated, whatever it is. It's up to you.
Someone said you can learn a lot from a person from their favorite ice cream flavor. So, what's your favorite?
Ooh, what have I been? Ooh, there's been a couple that I really enjoy lately. The what is it? It's not a sherbet.
You
It's
say all facts about
it's like
cars, but
an
as soon as someone asks about ice cream, you're stunned.
yes, exactly. What is it? It's like oh, what is it? Is it dreamsicle? Is it? I can't remember. It's basically vanilla and orange. It's phenomenal. I love it. Or even pralines and cream.
I've never heard of it.
Oh, pralines and cream is good.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff on the channel also. Like if you guys want to do learn about turbos, I have a full turbo build series starting from the beginning. Like way back in the channel's history. I basically taught myself everything I know. And a lot of it, you can see a lot of my failures on the channel. I'm not going to hide it. A lot of stuff I did screw up on. I was given some bad information from some people. But yeah, no, there's a lot of turbo stuff on the channel. You can see when I get into the bigger turbos. There's a lot you have to learn with airflow. That's one of the things with turbos. Learning how to properly size a turbo to what you're doing. Like factory turbo cars, we could use, let's say the Mark IV Volkswagens, let's like 99 to I think 04, 06, somewhere like that. We'll use those 1.8 turbos from those for the Volkswagens, for the Jetta and Golf, even the Audis from around that same era.
Mm-hmm.
They came with like really small turbos. Not much bigger than a quarter, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe eighth of an inch to a quarter inch bigger than a quarter. So they're not really a big turbo. They're really small, the compressor wheel and the exhaust wheel. So they're very restrictive. The idea is when you hit the gas pedal, whoosh, it comes up in a boost really fast, and you have boost right away, instantly. If you're trying to make a lot of power, you don't want that. It doesn't work. I know I see a lot of guys out there, they're saying, oh, their 1.8 turbo makes 400 horsepower with a whatever upgraded KO4 turbo, whatever it is. It doesn't. Not until they go to like a big Garrett, like a GTX or a GT line, that it's actually going to start making power. So it's that weird mix. So it's based on how you size the turbo. You have to understand the turbo flow charts. I could go through them a little bit. I'm still not the greatest at them, but I've got a better understanding with time. But yeah, that could be something that we discuss. I know I got another friend who's actually said that he would come on and talk to you guys about this sort of stuff and talk about turbos and how to size them correctly in another podcast that we'll do at some point. He knows a lot more about the flow charts and how to pick out the efficiency range that you're going for based off of your engine and your specs that you've done. He knows a lot more about that than I do. But yeah, we can dive into that more in some other videos.
Okay, someone said, I found a Jeep Wrangler 2010 on sale for 9K. Do you think it's a worthy investment? It's a bit modded, it's raised, has off-road tires, stereo replaced, and custom lights.
Jeep Wrangler. I'm trying to remember that body style now. The Wrangler. I keep getting them all mixed up. I don't know Jeeps as well as I should. Okay, the Wrangler. Yeah. No, I know which one it is. I keep getting the what's the Grand Cherokee mixed up with the Wrangler. But $9,000 for 2010. That doesn't sound too bad.
Two-door.
It's a two-door. That's not that bad, honestly. Maybe a little bit on the high side, but I couldn't tell you how the Jeep market really is. I don't follow that market very much. I don't follow the off-roading market, but as long as it's been done, the work's been done on it correctly, and when you're inside of it, it feels good. It should be a good vehicle. I do know though that those things are prone to getting death wobble. So keep an eye on your suspension, especially as the vehicle gets older. Right now, it probably won't have any issues, but death wobble is a thing with them, and they are known to be extremely dangerous if you crash. If it's got the straight six in it, that's a pretty bulletproof motor. That thing's been around since I think that's been around since 70s with the Gremlin, I think. I think they're in the Gremlin in AMCs. Yeah, they ran them in the AMC, which I believe is, yeah, they ran them in the AMCs. So that motor's been around forever if it's a straight six. I don't know if they're still using that motor or not. But if it's the 3-liter straight six, it's been around forever. It's a bulletproof engine. They don't die. But they can be prone to death wobble, so you're going to have to keep an eye on your steering linkages. If your steering feels really numb or loose or different at all, I highly recommend, if you don't know how to work on your vehicle, having a shop look at it because of the death wobble. I don't know fully if they have fixed that issue yet, but I don't believe they have because I still think they're running a steering box. And the RAM is, when they fail, basically it rips the wheel out of your hand and the wheel violently shakes and it can flip the car over on the highway.
I have heard horror
Yeah,
stories
so
before.
yeah, it's bad. You can get them in bigger trucks, but also, but you'll see them more so with vehicles that have a steering box, not rack and pinion. And I believe those are still rack and pinion, or yeah, they still have a steering box and not rack and pinion. So, again, it's an area that I don't really dive into much, but there are a lot of horror stories about death wobble. The best thing to do is when you have it, if I remember correctly, it is just let off the gas and let it naturally slow down and let the car do its thing. So you kind of got to let it slow down to get it back stabilized. Don't fight with it. Don't jerk the wheel. Don't, just be very steady if it does ever happen. And let off the gas. Don't whack the brakes because that will cause even more. And that's how you flip it. So you just want to let off the gas slowly, from what I remember. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure you just have to let it slow down till it gains its composure again, and then you're fine. But it's essentially when you get your, I believe it's your hydraulic ram underneath, when there's play in the hydraulic ram, that's when that happens, or your steering stabilizer bar. Essentially, when there's slop in the front, that's when it starts happening. So you got to keep a very good eye on that. 2020 Malibu. Those have the 2.4 in them, I think. I think I was around at Chevy. No, I would have already been done at Chevy by that point when I worked there. I don't know too much about those. They're pretty decent from what I remember, but GM has a lot of, I find, quality control issues with their cars. I couldn't fully tell you. Yeah, I couldn't fully tell you. I know GM typically has quality control with their cars. Their trucks are usually pretty reliable, but the cars are kind of hit and miss. So I couldn't fully tell you. From what I've heard, they're okay, but I couldn't fully tell you. I don't know them that well enough to give a very good opinion on it. Hey, no problem. No problem at all.
We're all learning.
Yep. Yep. I have a pretty decent knowledge of cars, so in the end, most cars are built to last within a certain time frame. And usually it's just over that 10 years now. So in the first 10 years of ownership, you shouldn't expect any issues as long as it's a newer car. So it's pretty much a crapshoot. They're all pretty good within up to 10 years. And then after 10 years, it gets kind of, I don't know, it gets kind of hairy with what you'll need done. So if it's just a daily driver, as long as you don't own it for more than 10 years, you're probably fine. You won't have that many issues to deal with. That's why a lot of people, I saw this, they'd get cars, they'd run them for a year or two, and then they'd get rid of them. They'd trade them for another car, they'd switch, whatever it is. They'd have a car for 1 or 2 years, new car.
Sounds good to me. And I know nothing about cars.
Yeah.
Any more questions for Chris?
Yeah, you know a little. Don't kid yourself. You know a little, not that much, but you know a little bit.
Because of you.
You know a little bit before me.
Like what?
I don't know. You knew some things.
I guess I do.
But yeah, if you guys have anything you want to ask us, any questions, feel free.
So what got you into cars, Chris?
Um, shit. I don't know. I don't know. Wish I could answer that one. I don't know. I was born with a wrench in my hand, essentially.
That's one way to put it.
I don't know. I've always worked on everything,
Mm.
so I don't know.
Were you self-taught?
Pretty much. I found I learned very little in school about cars,
Mm-hmm.
and it was more so just me doing it is where I learned everything. Like in school, I self-taught myself how to weld, and it looked like shit. It was bad, but you know, once I picked up a welder, bought my own, and I actually sat down and really paid attention and concentrated, I just kind of figured it out on my own. Same thing with welding, same thing with cars. I learned a little bit from school, but nothing I didn't already know. The way engines all work is very similar. They're all just a giant air pump, is the best way to look at them.
Yeah.
So air in, air out, essentially. It's just how to make that air pump more efficient, how to make more power out of them. They're not too overly complicated. In reality, a lot of people think they're very complicated. They're not. They're really not. They're complicated based off of how the engineers do things with them, but the general premise of how all engines work is the same from a lawnmower to an airplane motor, essentially. Not jet. Jet is different, but like a prop plane, the way they work is very similar. So
Okay.
not too much of a difference. a good way to learn about, if you want to learn about how engines work, a really easy way is to go down to your junkyard and go pick up an old lawnmower. Go find yourself an old Briggs and Stratton, and that's a great way to learn basics of how an engine works. It's very simple to work on. It's not hard to take it apart, and all you do is you take it apart and you put it back together the exact same way. You clean up what you got to clean up, look through everything. It's very simple how they work. It's very, very simple.
Which you've done many times.
So it's a good way to learn how to work, or how a small engine or any engine works. They all work internally the exact same.
Mm-hmm. What do you think's the most popular car these days?
I don't know. I'm probably going to say Tesla.
Oh, really?
And I hate that, but it's probably Tesla. Because there's enough government grants they give you. I think it's like $3,000 or plus they give you to buy an electric car, plus a bunch of other stuff. I hate them. I truly hate them. One of the biggest things, just remember, if you live in North America, you're going to have to spend about $20,000 to rewire your house to charge your car. Just remember that.
Oh, damn.
$20,000 to rewire. They have to bring another set of high amperage wires into your house to charge your car.
Mm-hmm.
And that's $20,000 to run that wire.
Plus the
At least where I'm at, it's $20,000. Huh?
Plus the high electric bills.
They say that they're not that bad on for electric bills, but you have to bring over 200 amp worth of high power wires, and what you get into your house isn't very high power in comparison to what you need to charge a Tesla.
Okay. Yeah, there's a few people here.
So just remember, it's about 20 grand. So,
sorry, my connection's going again, so I'm gonna have a delay.
no worries. Yeah, if any of you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments. I don't know exactly how much longer I'll be going for right now, but yeah, if you guys got any questions, feel free to ask. Is there any other questions you wanted to ask, Amy? You wanted me to answer?
I don't know. I think I've asked everything. Okay. What cars do you recommend for shorties like me?
It's very dependent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 1 second, I just got a text. Give me a minute. I have my car off getting the rear pinion seal changed. I got a text message from the people who are doing it, so I just gotta take a look at this for a second.
That's fine. And thanks to everyone who has sent in questions. It helps Chris out. Gets to know everyone as well. Just don't ask me questions about cars because I haven't got a clue. Okay, I'll answer that one. I drive a Ford Fiesta.
Sorry, I'm reading this right now.
That's fine, I'm talking to your fans.
Hmm,
Yeah, it is.
that's odd.
What's
About that. Sorry about that. I was just got they messaged me from some things that they saw at the car.
bad news?
It honestly, that what they just said kind of proves one of my theories. So
Yeah.
yeah, kind of. Yeah, not a great one. I had a suspicion that my drive shaft was too long, and they just confirmed at the shop that it was too long. And this is years ago that I put this drive shaft in. I thought it was too long back then, and there was some room on the yoke, but I always thought it looked wrong. And the shop did confirm that it is incorrect. It is too long of a yoke too long of a drive shaft. Oh, that's a bugger.
Is it? How is it
So
like
that could
running
also
or?
maybe be part of my issue. That might explain another one of my issues.
Wait, is it
When I
too
hit
easy
the
to
gas,
run?
it drops the suspension and it tightens up travel too much, bottoms the yoke into the trans, and then stops my suspension articulation. That might explain my issue also.
Yeah.
That is weird though because I have the correct drive shaft length. Or it is the correct drive shaft. That was what came with the kit. Um, actually, I'm gonna go pick up the car quick. So I'm gonna head out quick to go pick up the car, and
Yeah.
I think I think just play. Can you put the videos back on? And I'm gonna take off for a bit, and then I'll see if I can come back and talk to you guys again in a little bit.
Okay. I'll try if my internet doesn't put it up, but I'll try.
Huh?
I'll try if my internet doesn't play up.
What'd you say? I couldn't hear you.
I'll try if my internet doesn't play up.
Okay. Yeah, if you can do that. I'll try and get back with you guys if I can't. I'll talk to you in the comments while the stream's still going. So I'll see you guys in a bit.
Bye.
Okay, so can't really remember what I left off with, but here's where we're currently at. The paint that I got, the PA green, I went back to the paint place and it was actually the wrong color. There's a couple different variations of that paint code, and this is actually a tri-coat for this car. The paint code on the door is not fully correct. It is correct, but there's a couple variations of it. What I recommend doing is taking off your gas door, bring it to the paint shop with you. Don't get the duplicolor paint matching stuff. It's not accurate. It's not close. It comes out as a way brighter green. You can kind of see some of it still in there. It's not not even close. I had to strip it right down and start from scratch and redo this entire area. So where we're currently at, I've done a couple other little spots, just filling any little pinholes. I've got it pretty much perfect right now. So yeah, we're ready to put some paint down on it. I'm going to clean it up a little bit more. Currently it's a little bit too cold in here to paint, so hopefully I'll get a little bit of heat in here. If not, I might just call it and do it tomorrow. That's not rust, that's burnt paint because of a weld. It's fine. Same with that, that's burnt paint in there, not rust. One thing I did notice, and this was my error, on the top part, this goes a little bit longer. Not necessarily a bad thing that it's a little more shallow here. It doesn't really make a difference because these holes are only so long. As long as these ones match that, it can only go the same amount front and back, and it really can. So this is perfectly fine and acceptable. If I would have known and remembered that it went a little bit farther back, I would have cut it farther back, but honestly, it's fine. I might